I'm Lee Spencer with RacinBoys.com, and I'm with Tanner Thorson. And you said you're already working on your Chili Bowl midget. What's that experience been like? Usually people are working on the cars for you, and now you're getting your hands on.
Yeah, it's been great. We started 2 months ago, I think, just getting prepped and stuff. And it's probably the Daytona 500 for midget racing, and that's the race I think everybody wants to put on their win list. And I've always enjoyed working on my own stuff. From the time I was little, my dad kind of taught me and raised me to be able to work on my own stuff. And I love the midget. This is kind of my bread and butter. I love working on them. I love, reading the racetrack and stuff. And Lee and I work really well together on the sprint car and the midget. So Chili Bowl's, I'm looking forward to Chili Bowl. We've got a really awesome piece, good partners and stuff involved with us, and it should be good.
Now, Lee is your crew chief. What's his last name and what's his background?
Lee Lindgren. He's been around for a long time. I think he's been in racing for, I want to say, almost 30 years. But he's, worked with some of the best guys in sprint car racing, Tyler Walker, Paul McMahon, just to name a few, to be honest. He used to own his own sprint car stuff, but he got tied in with Clyde a couple times. He's worked for Clyde a couple times, and he always comes back to Clyde. So Clyde, our car owner, is pretty awesome.
Talk about this car and the number 3 and what it means for you to be behind the wheel of it.
It's I'd say it's probably one of my better things I've done. I grew up watching this car race in California. I'd be at Chico every Friday night and always saw the 3C. It was always up front, always fast, and I always saw Clyde walking around too. And never in 1,000 years would I think that I would be running the 3C and for Clyde. I know growing up, I always heard about Clyde being one of the best car owners out there, and he was hard to deal with, but he'll give you what you need to win. And that stayed true for sure. And Clyde, he's been around a long time. I think this is his 58th year racing. So he's owned a car for 58 years straight. And, he just kind of ventured into the midget deal. I had a ride for Chili Bowl last year, and I was supposed to run that car a lot and ended up not being in it. And I told him, and he's like, well, let's go build one. So took him back to Indiana Midget Week. He didn't, I don't think he knew what to expect, to be honest. And, coming from California where the racing is, and wing racing in general, not just California, it almost is, if you're on bigger tracks, it's more of a spread out deal. And we started racing, and I've never seen that guy so pumped in my life when he got back, and we didn't even run that good. To me, we started 10th or whatever, or 13th, and we ran 5th. And to me, that's not good enough for me. I want to run, if I start 13th, I want to run top 3. That's a good night for me. And so just those 1 or 2 spots is a lot. And Clyde, he had a bigger smile on his face coming back after the first night of Indiana Midget Week than he does when we win sprint car races. It's just because it's a new deal, and it's kind of venturing outside of what he's done in the past, and to be able to be fast instantly and up against the best cars in the country, in the world. Keith Kuhn's stable, the Clausen Marshalls, those teams are, and Boats and the FMRs. Those teams are the teams you want to beat, and we were really competitive with them right out of the box. And so he's taken to the midgets pretty well, and he likes the midgets more than the sprint car stuff now. So we've all got a pretty strong bond, and I think that's what makes this team go well. We all butt heads a lot, but in the end of it, we're all here for each other, and we're all a team. If I mess up, it's all of us. If my crew chief messes up, it's all of us. And that's kind of the way to be. You've got someone that's 85 years old. I think he might have just turned 84 years old. In this business, he's been around and he's seen a lot of stuff, and he's seen a lot of different drivers' attitudes and ways to go about things, and he bonds and meshes with not only me but Lee, our guys that work on the cars. We all bond really well at times. When we're not running good, we still on the way home, we're still really close, and when stuff happens fast and we're in wrecks and stuff and we're in a hurry, we seem to yell at each other a lot, but it's all worth it in the end when you're sitting in the victory lane.
What was your takeaway from running a limited schedule in NASCAR?
It was cool just to kind of see that side of the racing world. I grew up watching NASCAR and always wanting to race NASCAR for a living, and I wish I could have done more, but I'm really grateful for the opportunities that I got to do, for the races I got to do, and if it happens where I can race more, that'll be awesome. But I've obviously, like Larson and Tony and all the guys from Dirt, they say this is kind of your passion right here and your love, and dirt racing is definitely what's got me. Grew up doing it, but the limited schedule, it's kind of a hot and cold subject with me. It's where you're cold with it because you wanted to race the whole season, and but you're hot because it's the first time you've ever been in a NASCAR field. So it was cool. I learned a lot. We had some strong runs, and then we had some not so strong runs, and but it was a good time.
It's just really tough to build momentum when you're not there every week, and even in the truck series, they don't run week after week after week, and so even the guys that are there, it's like stop and start, and for a young guy making that transition, it's a rough way to go. Absolutely,
and I had some really good people to lean on, Austin Dillon and Ty Dillon, and Daniel Hemrick even. Any questions I had, they were able to help me, and Austin got on the radio a couple races with me and tried to help me as far as telling the guys what I need. Coming from Dirt, I could tell you what I need, and maybe I could tell you what to do to get me what I need. But when it comes to going to asphalt racing, it's pretty hard for me to transition into that, focus on what I'm doing, and then try to focus on what I need to tell the guy what to do to the race truck. So, but I've had some really awesome people. My business manager, Austin Craven, he's helped me out a lot with Team Dillon Management, and we're all kind of family now. It's pretty awesome, the bond that me and my manager have, and then even I became pretty close with Austin and his wife Whitney, and so that whole deal is pretty awesome.
Looking forward to Chili Bowl, what is it going to take to make the A main again? I mean, what are you going to need to be up there in battling, hopefully, for your first Golden Driller?
Some luck would probably be the best thing for me. I've ran fourth the last, I want to say, three or 4 years at Chili Bowl, and I've started on the pole of the C main every time. So I've been able to, venture and get through the field and get through the B main and then start in the back of the A. And, by that time, your car's wore out. It's beat. Your front axle might be out, your toe might be out a little bit, just, because it's a little track. You have to muscle your way through there. And, starting that far back in the main, by the time you get halfway through the race and you've ran into some people and some people have cut you off and stuff, it makes for more of a night where you're almost hanging on, And last year it started in hot laps on my prelim night and biked up pretty bad and came down, got the oil tank, header, Nerf bars, frame. We pieced it back together and went back out there for the heat race, and the oil line broke off and lost all the oil, so I had to go to the C main on that on my prelim night. Worked my way up to 10th in the A main on my prelim night, and so that kind of started me on the pole, the C main, or it might have even been the second row of the C main, and but I had a really awesome car there, and I'm looking to have a even better car this year.
We really appreciate your time, Tanner, and look forward to seeing you at the Gateway Dirt Nationals.
Yep, thank you guys.